Hey, welcome back to Always Learning. And what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to make a little hat stand. And it's pretty simple. I don't know if this is the best way to do it or not. This is what I did it. So I got this base and I got this top at Hobby Lobby. And then I got these copper pipe. I got it at Lowe's or Menards. I can't even really remember. But all you're going to do is you're going to take this base and you're going to flip it over. And you're going to draw lines on the back until you find the center. And then when you find the center, you're going to take what's called a Forster bit and you're going to drill it down to where it's almost all the way in. And the reason you're doing that is so this little recessed part can hold the nut. And so then this thing will still, with the nut in there, will still lay flush on your table. So that's what you're gonna use the Forster bit, and then you just use a regular drill bit to drill through the center. I'm just gonna drill through that center there. Come out this side, and then you're simply going to do the same thing on this bottom. You'll draw a couple lines until you've across here just with the straight edge until you find the center. You can measure it, and then you're going to drill another hole with this drill bit. So now you'll have two holes, and then you'll take just a regular piece of steel, and this goes through this hole, and then the other end will go through this hole. So it'll sit on the table with this in one end and then this at the top on the other end with the lid on. You want to go really slow because this is really thin board here, just kind of wafer thin. So you got your hole here. We'll sand all that off before we sand this off. So boom. We'll have that on top. And then what we'll do is we'll put this washer on here, and that's what's going to hold the inside in here. And we'll get it to where we want it, and we'll cut this off, and you can either solder it or put epoxy steel to hold it in place, smooth it all finished. And then on the other side, we're going to cut this screw off, attach it here with epoxy steel, and then that will be our little nut that holds this side. That's pretty much it. And then the copper pipe simply slides on. And it will be held in between. It'll be held in between for pressure with the washer on top and the screw on the bottom. So that's the plan. So we're going to use this copper pipe, and I'm going to make it 12 inches. And I'm going to cut it with this pipe cutter. I'll leave a link in the description below. If you want to mark it, you can mark it with this first, but I'm simply going to measure 12 inches. It's got a little cutting wheel in here, almost like a glass cutter, and you just go around like 32 times and spin it, and it'll cut it. There's a little roller in here, so you get it kind of where you want it, so it stays on there. All right, and then we'll measure. You can cut it with a hacksaw too if you don't have one of these little guys, but if you're going to make multiples of these, you probably want to have one. So you just get your tape out, 12 inches, loosen this. We're gonna slide this to the end here. Slide this on the 12 inches. Twist this, lock it down. And once it's on there, then you're simply just gonna spin. And you keep spinning, and as you spin, you just tighten this little wheel here, and it'll cut it off. Takes quite a few. It's not the fastest process. There's probably people faster than me, but almost there. There it is. 2 pieces cut. Which one's 12? This one's 12. That's the one we'll use. So next I'm going to simply cut off the end of these bolts. I'm just going to hold them in this and then cut them with the grinder. All right, so here I'm just laying out the bolt because, you know, you cut them, they're different. And I want them to be 12.5. So this is down here, and then this I'm looking 12.5 here. Then I'm just going to take my grinder and cut it. So when they're glued together, that should be 12.5. So the way I do it, I'm going to attach this end and use this JB weld. You could weld it. I've tried it. It just works easier to use this stuff. And then once I get that welded on, I'll figure out my length and I'll either weld this washer to the top. So it's nice and flat, it'll look like a quarter in there. Or I can use JB Weld and sand that off too. All right, I'm just taking a piece of cardboard and I'm gonna fold it here so it's straight. And then I'm gonna fold this side here so it's flush and straight. Okay. And then I'm gonna use that as my tracks to set my bolts in there to glue so they're held nice and straight. Then we'll just glue them up. All right, so here's JB Weld, or what my dad always called epoxy steel. Steel reinforced epoxy, and the instructions are on the back. You basically are going to mix both these parts together, equal parts, then you're going to mix it together, you're going to shape it the way you want to. It sets up in 6 minutes, cures in 4 to 6 hours, as long as it's above 40 degrees. If it's below 40 degrees, it's going to take a little longer. So anyway, we're going to mix this up, put those on there, and that's what we're going to use to hold. We could weld them, but then it gets too big sometimes with the weld because I'm not the greatest welder, and then it won't go through there. I may use it when I attach the washer just to give more of a cleaner look, but we'll see. All right, we're going to lay down I probably don't need that much, but it's always overkill. It's always overkill. Oh, wrong lid. Oh well. All right. Equal parts. Okay, now you're going to simply mix this up. It should kind of turn into a gray. All right. Once you get it kind of mixed up, like I said, you got about 4 minutes. So you just want to, kind of like you would any kind of glue, you can grind this, literally grind this off if you want to when you're done. So I'm just going to take this, make sure I get it on both of these, get a nice clean. And if it sticks to the paper, that's okay, because I'm going to, I'll just grind that off too, I don't care. You just want to make sure you get it straight. You got a little bit of a play with it. You want to make sure you're putting it on the cut end or your bolt won't go on as nice. And we're just going to do this third one. This is the one I did previously. I tried a different glue and it just did not work as well, so we're just going to redo it. All right, now we're just taking some dark walnut stain. Got some paper towels, or you can use t-shirts, rags. We're just going to stir this up.
Put on some gloves. Put some on here and just rub it in. This side's already kind of done. That's good. This one I went back and got the stickers off and some of the markings off a little better. Get those cracks. And just kind of wipe it off. Stain that side, let it set. Just keep going and do all 3 of them. Got an Etsy order form, so I thought I'd just crank out 3 of them.
Then I just come back and wipe off the excess. I found the early American stain rather than the dark walnut actually looks better, so that's kind of what I tend to go with now. I've got a couple of the dark walnut, but I think the early American makes it look a little prettier. All right, so now we're just going to take the boxes and we're going to poly them. Pro tip, always start with the bottom side first. get everything kind of cleaned off. It's all stained, the stain's dry. We're just gonna go with this mini wax. It's actually water-based polyurethane clear matte finish. Just pop it open. Need to clean up a little better. All right, then you wanna make sure your stick's dry, clean. You just stir it. Don't shake it, just stir it. And for the bottom, I'm just gonna use this little chip brush. It's kind of self-leveling, so, but you just wanna make sure you get it all coated on there. Like I said, if you get it on this side, make sure you kind of wipe it off. You're just wanting to get a nice layer on there. You really should be doing 2 coats. That's probably what I'll end up doing. I'm just gonna put one on the video, but if you do get poly on the other side and it's glumpy, just sand it off a little bit and restain it before you do it. But like I said, you just want to make sure you get it on there. It's nothing magical. It's kind of self-leveling. So just go with strokes. I usually try to go with the final stroke with the grain of the wood. Go around the sides. Looking for a nice smooth coat. If you do poly on anything, you pop it down and do the top. It's probably too much. Like I said, it's pretty forgiving. It's pretty self-leveling, so I think a foam works better. That's why I'm gonna do the tops with the foam. All right, so here's kind of the almost finished product, and I'll just show you here. Here's the washer on top that I've welded to it and then sanded off to the pipe that holds it. Here's a little screw down here. Simply going to twist those, unscrew the long rod, just to kind of show you how it goes together. That rod is running through the copper pipe. I may go with the dowel rod in there and then just put 2 screws and washers, but it's a little fancier. There's the hole that supports the washer, and this simply comes off. This comes out. Boom. There you have it. That's the whole kind of process that goes through, and as it tightens, it just kind of binds it all together. So I ended up welding this and just then drilling it off, making sure I didn't mess up the grooves. And then I simply held a washer with a clamp and welded it here, then grinded it off. I don't know if that's the best. Like I said, I may go with a dowel rod that runs through there and then put a washer and 2 screws that constrict the 2 boxes together to hold it. So that is the process.